Hey Boo Bears, this is Bits of Banters with Antoinette, and we're going to be going over Love Island, Australia, episode 20. Let's get into it. Please like and subscribe and leave your comments down below. Let's get to chatting. Remember when we thought Taylor was a good guy? Ugh, feels like ages ago. Feels like ages ago. So, top of this episode was actually really good. So we start the episode with Sophie going basically back and forth between Dylan and other people trying to tell Dylan what happened. And she first tells Dylan that all they did was kiss, her and Zane. Then she goes to Mimi, and Mimi's like, was that everything? Was that the whole truth? And Mimi was being a good friend. Mimi was being a really good friend to Soph because she's like, well, we did have a drive-by. And she's like, well, then tell him. Because it's true. It's true. If the truth bike happens or if anything else happens, he's going to find out and he's going to be really angry. Not that it completely changed the situation for her, because I do feel like he's now still unsure. Dylan's still unsure about stuff. But then she goes back to Dylan and says, like, hey, we had a drive-by, which at first I was like, I don't really know what that means. I guess that meant some like touching, but I'm not absolutely sure what a drive-by means. But she said it's just some touching, but like we didn't have sex. Dylan, understandably, is like, I don't know if I believe her, or he's still confused and doesn't know if he believes her. I don't think I would believe her either, because she kept going back and forth and saying, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, oh, it was just that, oh, I promise this is it. But like, because you kept coming back to me, now I don't know if I would believe you, right? Right. I do feel like Zane, and then also when, what is her, Kayla is talking to Hannah and saying, I knew you were too hot for this place. Like, what? I knew you were, or she said, I knew you were too hot to leave this place. What are you even talking about, Kayla? What are you even talking about? In all honesty, what are you talking about? Then we get to a scene of all of the girls talking shit about Hannah. And I loved it when Em was like, what was the fucking hour-long notebook speech? I mean, honestly, what was that? She had been romantic with Taylor for like, what, half a day? Like half a day, maybe a whole day. And she's all like, her speech was giving way too much for somebody that like had just matched with him. Also, I'm still upset that they brought her back. I'm not, I'm still upset that they brought her back. I really don't think that they should have. It's not like, the UK version when Molly, I can't remember her name, came back, but that made sense. There was some tea to it. She actually had a really strong connection with the guy that was still there, and then there's going to also be some drama because he actually had already kind of moved on. And then she came back. So, and people were still upset when that happened. Like, bringing Hannah back was so annoying. And did you guys see the TikTok that Love Island Australia put up? And they showed the producers talking to Hannah after she was dumped and she's crying. And then they're like, actually, you're going to come back and all this stuff. And she's like, ah. And I was like, oh my God, this is giving producer plant. This is giving producer plant. I was just like, ugh. But one part that was really cute when Em and Mimi and Mercedes were all talking. Oh, and Mia and Nico were all talking about the situation about Hannah coming back. Mercedes finishing all of Em's sentences when she was like losing her words. I thought that was like hella cute. I thought it was hella cute. And during that conversation between everybody, Nico, Mia, Mimi, and everyone else, kind of, and Em talking about how Hannah came back and like, talking their shit. I totally understand how Nico was feeling. He's pretty much saying like they were together the longest, and it makes him feel like, whoa, the fact that Hannah made this whole long speech about Taylor and why she's coming back for him. He was like, wait, we had just ended things. Like, was anything real between us? And in all honesty, us as viewers, we know that it wasn't real, right? Like, we know that it wasn't real because Hannah from the beginning has been really giving that she didn't really like Nico and that she was just waiting for somebody else to become available. And I think Mimi is right, that because Mimi in her confessional says that she feels like Hannah moves like a chameleon, and I agree. I agree. There's just something very fake about her. This is not a Hannah Stan account. Like, okay, if you like Hannah, you probably are not gonna like my reviews because I don't like that chick. I don't like that chick. Then we get to Sophie. Now Sophie's done telling Dylan all the stories. Now she's going to go to Kayla and tell her what happened with Zane. And she gives her the full truth instead of piecemealing the information like she did with Dylan. So, thank you. But it was the funny part. The thing that I found the funniest is when Kayla was like, I mean, he's very intelligent. So, and then when they showed that part with the cat being like, literally it was the same face I made. I was like, I don't think anyone would call Zayn intelligent. Right? I don't think anyone would call Zayn intelligent. He's manipulative, but he's not intelligent. Okay. They kind of did him wrong, but it was honest. It was very, very honest. And then we get to Zayn. And honestly, Zayn's whole thing is like he is trying to act like the victim here. He's like, oh, all these girls want something with me, and I just can't help it that I'm just like not interested. I was like, wait, well, what you could have helped is not leading them on. Like you didn't need to kiss Sophie twice, do that drive-by, because you didn't even want her in the real world. So you already knew that you were not interested, but you still did all that stuff. And let's be real. With Kayla, you also knew that you weren't that interested. You just are hopping from people to people. Like, I don't even, at this point, I'm like, is he able to be super interested? Like, I'm going to be really surprised if he actually finds someone and like settles with them. Like, I'm going to be really surprised. I just don't feel like he has it in him. And then, but I do love this part with Steph because he, comes over to Zayn and he's like, hey, you keep ending up in this situation, which is like what we're all thinking. Like, you keep ending up, the common denominator, Zayn, is you. The common denominator, Zayn, is you. Okay. And he's like, you keep ending up in these situations and you keep ending up in a situation where you're like, I'm just not that interested. I'm just not getting that feeling. And he's like, and then these girls are having feelings for you. He's like, Kayla really likes you. And she's like, and he's saying like, she didn't just get those feelings from anywhere. And I honestly, it was so refreshing to see a guy talk about that. He's like, she didn't just pull that out of thin air. Like you helped lead her there. And Zayn's like, well, I mean, he's like, oh, well, no, that's not really my fault. I didn't, like I thought I liked her, but I just didn't have the feeling. I just didn't have the feeling. And he's like it feels like he's being purposefully obtuse. I feel like he's being purposely obtuse and being like, why is Steph, I feel like Steph is purposely trying to put me down. No, he's not. He's just being honest with you. He's just being honest with you. You're being a dick. You are using these girls. And then right after you get what you want from them, you're like, I just didn't feel anything. You already knew you didn't feel anything. You didn't need to make out with them. You didn't need to do all this stuff. You're just hopping from girl to girl. Like, let's be real. Him not communicating that he doesn't like them, but leaning into them and acting like he likes them and then pulling away is like, and then saying you're not feeling anything it's ridiculous. It's giving ridiculous. And then he keeps doing like, Steph is digging into me. I feel like he's like he's not digging. He's actually being a good friend to you and being like, hey, you need to figure this out. There's something going on here. Like, you're not being a good guy. And then our best friend Taylor comes into the scene and Zayn tells him what Steph said. And then he's like, oh, I can't believe that. That makes me so angry. Does it? Does it, Taylor? Does it really make you that angry? Honestly, I really can't with these dudes. So then Taylor brings up the story about Chrissy saying that, well, he pulled her into him. Well, Steph pulled her into him into like whatever, the more section, and had his feet on her stomach or something like that. It made her feel very uncomfortable. And he said, my type is basically describing Chrissy. He's like, I feel like I need to help Mimi because, I just have a lot of respect for her. I just have a lot of respect for her. Be so for real. Be so for real, Taylor. Honestly, be so for flipping real. You do not have any respect for her. Let's be real. And now Taylor wants to act like he's a good guy. You aren't the good guy. Okay? You aren't the good guy. Then we get to the night portion and things get spicy. And we get to see not only Em and Mercedes both press the consent button, where we get the little heart, and then you could tell that they were getting it in. But then also Dylan and Soph. And Soph said, I want to give you something. And he's like, oh, was it the thing that we talked about? I feel like it was, don't you? I feel like she was giving him a little blowy. That's what it seemed like to me. And we're going to get to this part, but I'm surprised nobody asked about that later. Like, people only end up asking Em about her situation. But, like, Dylan was moaning a lot. Like, you heard Dylan moaning. Why didn't nobody? I feel like it's because people are kind of, like, wanting to come at Em. But I did like seeing all the consent hearts after we found out that those hearts and then pressing the button means, like, consent. I like that they have that. It's very protective, So then we get to the next day. And Taylor is just being a messy boots. Taylor's being a messy boots. And Em is correct that Taylor loves drama because he's going around to literally everybody but Mimi and but Steph telling them about the Chrissy situation. And like, why didn't you go to Steph or why didn't you just go directly to Mimi? You don't need to tell he literally told every single person. He told every single person about the Chrissy situation except for Steph and Mimi. And you know what? I liked how Mercedes ended up going to Steph and being like, hey, this is what they're saying. You might want to clear this up with Mimi. And I loved how Steph went straight to Mimi and then he was like, let's go talk to them together. I did like that. Do I believe Steph or not? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if what really happened with Chrissy really happened. I don't know. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if it even really matters. If he was flirting with her, he still chose Mimi, you know? So I do think that Steph is a flirty person. Do I think he was like actually trying to get with Chrissy? I don't think so. I do think he really is into Mimi because we've seen him in other seasons and like I feel like this is the first time I actually seen him really like somebody. In the other seasons, I don't feel like I did. Like I actually think that he likes Mimi. I might be eat my words because I was also a Taylor stan and now we see what happened. We saw what happened with that. So who knows? I wonder what you guys think though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And then I also wonder what you guys think. Do you think if Chrissy was here that she would have brought this up? Because the thing is now it's just speculation. Chrissy supposedly told Taylor and Taylor's telling everybody else. Steph is obviously denying it. I don't know if he would tell the truth if it was true or not. I don't know. So like, but I wonder if like Chrissy would have said something because a lot of people were saying that if she was in the villa, and it was important, when she was in the villa, she would have said something if it was that important. And when she was there, she didn't. So I don't know. But in all honesty, Taylor being like, oh my God, the fact that Mercedes told Steph means that like I need to be more careful. I think what we all are learning from this is everyone needs to be more careful around you, Taylor, because you're the one who likes to spread drama and then act like you're the victim when someone didn't keep your drama secret. You didn't keep the drama secret yourself. Like you're just messy boots. You love drama. And Mercedes was like, you know what? I'm going to be a good friend and I'm going to go straight to Steph because you're obviously planning on just telling anybody and everybody. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I don't believe him. Then we get to the scene where Mimi, Em, and Soph are all talking. And you know, they're talking about the situation with Steph and Chrissy and the whole Taylor thing. They're all talking shit. Hannah and Kayla try to get Mia to like get in on it. And you can tell Mia's just like, I'm just into Nico. I'm like really not interested in all this drama. And so then Hannah and Kayla go up to confront Mimi and Taylor and Soph. Sorry, Mimi and Em and Soph. And being like, and not Hannah saying like, oh, we're feeling a little left out. Weren't you just talking shit about Em and Mimi? Like, weren't you just talking shit about them? Like, how are you feeling left out? Like, in all honesty, how are you feeling left out? And I love how Mimi was real. And she was like, well, we're debriefing about Taylor. And I don't think I really want you a part of that conversation, which is understandable. Like, why would you want the girl that Taylor's dating? Why would you tell her and talk shit about Taylor to Hannah? Also, Hannah has proven that she's not your friend, right? Right? Yeah. Like, they were just talking about them. And I think Mimi's right. They're allowed to have a private conversation. Like, they don't need to include them. And Em, like, oh my God, it's so interesting. Then the drama really happens when Em and Mimi and Soph all go down to confront Hannah and Kayla again and being like, hey, Em's like, hey, we would never be friends outside of here. Not trying to be mean, but like, you're not my people. I think I found my people and you aren't it. A bit harsh, a bit harsh, but honest. But the thing is, Hannah doesn't like Em either. So I don't understand why she's like trying to be a victim. Like she doesn't like these girls. Do you know what I mean? Like she doesn't like these girls. So why is she trying to act like Mia and Nico listening? And they're like, Mia's like cutting his nails or something. They are so unbothered. They are literally so unbothered. And then Mia turning to Nico like, are you hungry? They're just like in their own little bubble. They're so cute. And I love this for Nico. I love this for Nico because he's already had such a hard time. And like Hannah really led this man on. So I'm happy for him. Now we get to the truth bike, which is like basically the end of the episode. So let's go through it. So Steph is on the truth bike first. And Taylor asks, do you feel like you were being flirty behind Mimi's back? And he said like yes and no. He said, I feel like it is just me, but some people might take it as me being flirty. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I mean, I can see that. I do think he's a flirty person. And even Mimi said that she thinks he's a flirty person. Then someone asked, can you see yourself falling in love with Mimi? And he said yes, which I thought was super cute. Super cute, guys. Then I feel like Taylor just kept really going in on Steph, and he really wants to bring Steph down a peg. I feel like he just really wants to bring him down a peg. And I'm just like, dude, like, why are you obsessed? Why are you so obsessed with me? Well, you know what I mean? Like, why? Okay, so then Mimi gets on the bike and they're like, do you trust Steph? And she said, yes, I do, 100%. Then he said, do you think Kayla and Hannah can be friends on the outside? And she said, yes. But then Hannah was like, why is Mimi being two-faced? Because she said she wouldn't be friends with us on the outside. So I don't know if what I heard is, do you think Kayla and Hannah can be friends on the outside? But I don't know if what was really said is, do you think you would be friends with Kayla and Hannah on the outside? I don't know. And then they said, have you received a French baguette? And she said, yes, just a dip. Just the tip or just the dip? Okay, girl, things are getting spicy. Okay, Kayla. I don't love Kayla, but this part with the Zayn thing makes me sad. She ends up saying that she did feel like Zayn was her person. Someone asked her that, and that actually really made me sad. They asked her that was there a part in Hotel Amore that maybe she like wanted to do something else. She's like, no, Zayn was my world. Like, ouch. And then someone asked if Zayn worked really hard to take her back. Would she take him back? And she said no. She wants a man, not a boy. And Zayn was like, that's really harsh. I was like, I think that's just right, because honestly, the way that you acting art is boyish. You're not acting like a man. Okay, then Zayn. He said, someone asked him, do you regret this decision with Kayla? And he said no. He thinks he was honest, and that's how he felt. He just didn't have the connection. Okay. And then he said, when you first met Kayla, did you think she was your person? And he said yes. I don't believe that. I honestly don't believe that. And then Kayla being like, oh, that was good to know, because I was starting to feel like, I don't know. I was starting to feel like, I was all in my head, but I think he's just saving face. Like I don't believe that he felt that. I just don't. And then they asked, did you have sex with Sophie? And he said no. Like, we just had some touching and that's it. And then someone asked, and then Mimi asked, did you do more than kissing with Sophie in Hotel Amore? He said, no, we just got touchy, but we stopped it. And then Sophie said, good answer, thank God. She said, good answer, thank God. I don't know, that feels shady. Like, was there more to this? Did more happen? Because why are you saying good answer, thank God? I don't know. Then it's Dylan's turn. And it said, if Mimi was open in Hotel Amore, would you have? And he said no. He said no. I was like, okay, good answer. Then someone asked him, if what happened between Zayn and Sophie happened in the real world, would you act the same way? And he said, no, I would have dumped her and never looked back. And then Sophie was like, that makes me worried, because then why haven't you done that here? And I think he hasn't done that here because people don't do that here, because they're biding their time. Also, you're kind of stuck with this person. You can't just like never talk to them again. So people are going to act different. But yeah, I think Dylan has already made his decision that he's like done with this chick, in all honesty. I think Sophie needs to watch out. Then Sophie went, and Zayn asked, do you feel like I led you on? And she said yes, on the inside and on the outside of the villa. And then did you think about Dylan when you were kissing Zayn? And she said yes. And she's like, I thought about him a lot during Hotel Amore. Okay. And then someone asked, do you think Dylan deserves better than how you treated him? And she said yes, which I agree. I think he does. And then someone asked, if Zayn didn't stand up for Kayla, would you be partnered with Zayn right now? And she said possibly. It was a very split moment decision. Girl, oh my God. Dylan is like ready to be done with this girl. He's ready to be done with this girl. Okay, Nico. If Mia was dumped tomorrow, would you leave the villa? And he said, I believe so. He said he would, which was really cute. Then Mia went, and they said, are we going to witness the first marriage? And she said, maybe. I don't know. They're honestly very, very cute. And then they asked if she would move to Sydney for Nico. And she said, yes, no, possibly, maybe. And Nico's like, oh, we need to talk about this. You guys have time. Like, honestly, chill. You guys have time. And then Mia's like, I mean, if we're gonna get pregnant, like, why would I leave the place that has all my family? Which is true. But like, let's actually just get through Love Island before we even like really consider all that. Okay? Like, let's just get through Love Island. Okay, Hannah's turn. Nico had a lot of questions for Hannah. Nico had a lot of questions for Hannah, which really pissed me off. He said, when you told me you wanted to explore Taylor, was that when you actually felt it? And she said, no, she felt it a few days before, but she wasn't sure if he was open. And so then he asked, were you waiting for him to be open? And she said no, that she really liked Nico, but like things just fizzled out. No, she was, let's be real, she was waiting for him to be open. Or she was at least waiting for someone else to come. Then Nico asked, do you think it's contradictory that you reacted to Nico's speed, or Taylor asked, do you think it was contradictory that you reacted, the way you reacted to Nico's speed dating while also having feelings for me? Okay, Taylor. He loves drama. And then she said yes and no. She said she had not actually come to terms or conclusion on how she felt about Taylor. Then she said she had a crush. She had always had a crush on Taylor. Ooh, then Mimi answers the chat and she's like, "Wait, you said you always had a crush on Taylor?" And she's like, "Yeah, like a friendship crush. Like I always thought he was cute." And she's like, "Well, a crush is not friendship. It's like romantic." And she was like getting her on. She's like, wait. And then Hannah's like, "I think Mimi just has it out for me." I was like, "No, I think she's just catching you in the lies. Like, first you said that, oh, you only knew that you had feelings a few days before. Then you said that you always had feelings for Taylor. Which one is it, Hannah? Which one is it?" And Hannah, like, I don't know. She always just wants to play the victim. I can't, that girl. I can't. Mercedes' turn. Okay. Did you and M have sex last night? He says yes. And M is pissed. I feel two ways about this. I feel like she's a right to be pissed, but this is the truth bike. If people start lying on the truth bike, this actually wouldn't be a fun game anymore. But I do understand her feeling like your loyalty is to me. Like this was something special between us. But at the same time, you also did this in a room filled with people. So, yeah. Yeah. Then Taylor goes. And Steph asked him, do you think the decision to talk to the boys first was the right one? And he said no. But then he said, oh, take note, girls. This is how you handle beef. Like, no. And then someone asked, do you regret how you treated M during the love pentagon? And he said, no, I didn't ask for it. Unless you had been through it, you don't know, blah, blah, blah. Like, just violent. Like, honestly, he is always making it that he's the victim. And it's gross. It's gross. He's just such a dick. I just ugh. I cannot stand him. And then it's M's turn. And this girl really went for it. So someone asked, do you think it was disrespectful that Taylor gave his blessing to Mercedes to pursue you? And she's like, absolutely. I'm not anyone's property. And I agree. And then I said, do you still have feelings for Taylor? And she was like, absolutely not. And then Taylor, obviously, he's like, well, the feeling is mutual. I don't really care what she thinks. You obviously do, Taylor. You obviously do. And I honestly feel like he still partly likes him. I still feel like he's partly likes him. And I also still feel like he is still really angry that she just moved on and wasn't like butthurt over him. And then they asked, was last night the first time you had sex with Mercedes? And she said yes, and it was only 2 minutes and he didn't come. Okay, I know you were angry at Mercedes, but like, chill. Chill. Like, I feel like that was a bit too far. And then Taylor asked, do you think it was a bit too early to kiss Mercedes after you had the conversation with Taylor? And she said, no, I back myself. And I agree. Like, no. Taylor had her in some like type of love pentagon, love triangle situation. She can kiss anyone she wants whenever. Like, she doesn't need to feel bad about that. And then someone said, do you think Taylor enjoyed having 3 girls after him at once? And she said, absolutely, which we all agree. Absolutely. And then she said, he made me feel bad about 3 girls wanting him. And you can tell Taylor hates being called out. He's like just making all these noises. It was like, seriously, chill. And it's obvious like he can't take any accountability. And then Taylor asked, have you been 100% genuine in our conversations? And M ate him up here. She was like, yes and no. Like, you're always trying to like play the victim and gaslighting me. So I don't feel like you've left space so that I can be super genuine all the time. Oh my God. And Taylor was like, and his confessional again, he's like, I don't really care what she thinks about me. I mean, you obviously do. Tay Tay, you obviously do. You obviously do. Stop it. Oh my God. It's laughable. It's laughable. And then we got a sneak peek of the bombshells. And the one who says like he's a mix of a Hemsworth and I can't remember, but it's he's attractive. He's attractive. He's attractive. So I'm excited for the next episode. Please like and subscribe and leave your comments down below. I love these little chats of ours. Love you. Mean it. Bye.